Well, hello everybody. My name's Louise Riley, and I'm the advisory board member for the UK, Ireland, and Iceland. And I have with me on this webinar Gina. As you can see, Gina, and she's over in Ireland. Hi, Gina. How are you doing?
Hello, how are we?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Well, we decided between us that we wanted to do something a little bit different around the C9, and I know I get a lot of questions, Gina. I'm sure you get lots
Yeah,
of questions around around the C9. So we just thought doing something a little bit different. We're going to bounce off each other here and share some of the questions that I get, what Gina gets, and then that will help you probably with some of the customer questions that you get or team questions that you get. So Gina, on that note then, the C9, can we start off with the C9? What do people often think about the C9, hoping to get from the C9? And you might actually say the realistic expectations of the C9.
yeah, I think that's often one of the most popular questions that people ask. How much weight can I lose? What does it involve? What can I eat? And that's what we're going to address this evening. It's all those commonly asked questions, but definitely to start with, it's about being realistic with what the person's going to expect to achieve in the 9 days. So you'll notice in your booklet, even the first couple of pages, it's all about the goals. It's all about looking at what does the person want to achieve at the end of it and what's success to them at the end of it. And really, I think we need to start looking at people more individually. It's not a one box fits all. The C9 is part of our bigger program, of the whole FIT program, and it's one component of it. Yes, it's often a fit for most people, but it's about looking at that person. Where are they coming from? What do they want to achieve in 9 days? And then we can see, is the C9 the fit for them, or do they need to look at the F15? Do they want to keep up a lot of exercise? Do they need to skip then the C9 and start on the F15? What's going on with that person? Where are they coming from? And we know the C9 is just that reset, it's that break, it's to get back into balance and to kickstart onto a healthier lifestyle. And that is going to be the starting point for most people, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, because often C9, people like to call it the clean nine. And with
Mm-hmm.
that name, clean nine, I suppose as a customer who doesn't really understand the program, maybe they think, oh, if I take this, it's going to clean me out.
Yeah. And I think they actually get that visualization in their head of actually flushing and cleaning out the whole system. And I think we both agree that we prefer the word change nine rather than clean nine
Yeah,
for that reason. And it really, I suppose, then shows you it's all about change and
yeah,
what change is important to that person. It's different to everybody individually.
yeah, exactly. In fact, in certain countries in the forever world, they don't use the word clean nine. Scandinavia, as an example, they actually call it the change nine there. And I think that really summarizes that what you're doing is starting the process of change. And in 9 days, you're going to address some of the changes that you would like to make long term. um, and I suppose really one of the challenges that we have as well around this program is that people definitely think if I do this for 9 days I'm going to lose loads of weight, and of course we've got to be honest with people, you're not going to be losing a lot of fat, are you?
It's all the water retention. It's the toxin bits that are built up that's holding on to the water retention. And again, it's going back to that whole thing of people saying, oh, the clean nine is a detox. It's not. Your body will do the detoxing and release the water retention. And in turn, you're shrinking and pounds are dropping. But I think it's about the overall picture. And we pride ourselves as a company that we are the complete picture of health and wellness. We're not just a number on a scales company. We're all about the bigger picture of health and nutrition, and now more than ever, that is so important because we're not just helping people to look better, we're helping people to feel better. It's the overall approach, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think going on from that, with that in mind, if I just move on to this next slide, because we mentioned the word change, anything that requires the acquisition of new skills or behaviours or the termination of existing or old behaviours will involve change, and change can be quite scary. Many people find change difficult, particularly if it means moving towards a new behaviour pattern. So usually such change requires practice, and someone is most likely to succeed if they are given support. And that's literally what it's all about, isn't it?
Definitely. And it's been realistic that you can't change everything in 9 days. And, to even change a habit, most time you're looking at 21, 28 days to change habits. So it's about progress, not perfection, and looking and seeing where you're coming from, and are you better yesterday or today than you were yesterday, and keep moving forward. It's not about being totally strict and regimented and cut every single thing out and everything has to be perfect overnight. It's about just supporting that change, isn't it?
Yeah, and in fact, if I move to the next slide, here's an image of the well, a page that you get in the C9 booklet, and uh, I I definitely like to, just like you, recommend people to look at this as something that is individual. And I think a lot of people, when they get their hands on this booklet, they feel that they have to follow it word for word, step for step. And here's one on here, for example, the free foods, part of the process is the free foods. Do you find that people get really hung up about thinking they have to keep it exactly to the booklet? And
Mm-hmm.
often they then get disappointed when they're not getting the results that they expected, because we're all different, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. And you have to be realistic with you as a person. Somebody doing this and me doing this, we might do it totally differently. And we might require different things in each body as well. I'm only 5'1". I'm going to need a different amount of calorie intake to somebody else that's much bigger. And you're going to touch on BMR and individually in a few minutes. But it's likewise with the free foods. If you're like used to eating a certain amount of food, and I'm used to eating a certain amount of food, we can't overnight then just all go by this booklet and everybody is happy going by this booklet. It is just the guide. And people are not to beat themselves up if they have something, if they have 2 portions where it says 1 portion, or they have 3 portions where it says 2 portions. It's still looking at clean eating being the key and the core of the program. And it's about progress all the time, not perfection, but are you better than when you started the program? Have we left you feeling better, looking better than when you started the program? That's success, and it's not a case of the end of the 9 days, oh my God, I haven't had one single thing with sugar. I haven't had one single thing that was bad. I only ate all whole foods for the whole 9 days. Brilliant, but that's not realistic for absolutely everybody. So again, it goes back to the individual. What is progress for them? What is success for them at the end of 9 days is different to success for me, isn't it?
Yeah. And what I like to talk about at my trainings is that I always say, can I show you a program that you can follow where you can still drink wine, have chocolate, and eat crisps if you want? Because what is really interesting, how many people will look at this booklet and they think they have to cut out tea and coffee. They think that they have to cut out all the things that they enjoy. But actually, if you read the booklet, it does not say anywhere in this booklet that you cannot have tea and coffee. Somewhere along the line, somebody has presumed that they can't have tea or coffee, which actually is a bit strange when part of the program is taking caffeine.
In the term, yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's about someone else picking up the booklet and picking up one thing, and someone else will pick it up and they'll see something else in it. But it's about knowing to adapt it to that person and looking at the free foods, looking at the supplements, and tailoring when to even have the supplements and when to have the different foods. Because again, we have to stress it's not a one size fits all. There's no such thing as a one size fits all. This is not a miracle in a box for 9 days where everything is going to be perfect. It's the start, and it's the start of our overall fit program for that reason.
So what we're basically saying then, that the booklet is a bit of a guide. It's a little bit like when you look at the back of some food and it says nutritional facts, and it says about the calorie intake there, which is 2,000 calories for the average person. That's the average person. That's not the actual person. We all have different lives going on, different routines that are going on. Some people have children, some people don't. Some people are working from home, some people aren't. Some people are shift workers, getting up at different times. So we have to be able to adapt it. And I think really, first of all, the thing about the stimulants is a big thing. So if people want to take the C9 and not look at it as a program to lose weight, but to start to maybe look at reducing down things. So we were talking about this before about you could have somebody that has got to that point where they used to have a glass of wine while they were getting dinner ready and one with dinner. and now it's ended up having a whole bottle of wine. So 7 bottles of wine a week is probably not the healthiest thing to be doing, but if they want to make a decision to reduce it down to a couple of glasses an evening again, that's a really good success story. And same thing with anything, isn't it? It's all those kind of things. It's just snacks. Do you find people sometimes get hung up about the servings on here?
Big time, yeah. And I think people have that whole relationship with sugar. It's so damaging in their mindset to keep looking at, oh my God, I can't have certain fruits because the sugars. Yes, we need to control the sugars to a certain degree, but it's still nutritious food. You're still feeding your body so many nutrients. And yes, we need to control natural sugars, but most people are coming from, maybe they've had a couple of biscuits at 11 o'clock. They've had some chocolate after their lunch. They've had maybe something sweet after dinner. They're sitting down in the evening and they're having some treats again. So if you take that person and we're changing to reducing down all those sugary processed snacks and we're introducing some fruits, is it the worst thing in the world if they have 3 pieces of fruit instead of 2 pieces of fruit? No, and they're going to beat themselves up and think, oh my God, I failed on this whole program. It said 1 there and I had 2. Again, it's just a guide, and everybody is so different. And again, going back to your glass of wine scenario, I remember so many of our team members coming back from one of your trainings going, Louise said you can drink wine on the C9. And yes, you can if you're coming from this and your success is to get down to this. But for me, I don't drink wine, so I'm not going to introduce wine on the C9. So it's about looking at what's going on with you as an individual. If you're having chocolate 3 times a day and you're down to having it once a day on the C9, that's success. I remember working with a lady and she was starting her day with just coffee and chocolate. She was having chocolate and biscuits throughout the day. She wouldn't eat anything that was nutritious until she'd have the evening meal with the family. So I was not going to tell that woman, okay, now you're to have absolutely nothing other than whole nutritious foods. She couldn't go from what she was on to suddenly then what I was going to tell her. So it's about looking and making that change 9 all the time. And it is success for that person. It is progress for that person if we're making a change in the right direction. And as you said, Louise, we've never said this is a weight loss program. Again, I don't know where that came from. It's a kickstart. It's about changes. It's about starting that healthy, sustainable lifestyle. Naturally, we'll lose the water retention. The scales will change a little bit. The inches will drop. That's all part of the process. But we don't go out there and tell people drop weight, drop weight, drop weight. It's the overall picture of the healthy changes.
Yeah, and I think as well that you made a point earlier about we might start people on the F15. Now, for those of you that are listening in and don't know what the F15 is, that's part of the program, because this is the FIT program. We've got the C9, which is obviously 9 days, and then we have the F15, which is 15 days. But the difference between the C9 and the F15 is that you are actually doing exercise then, and it's the exercise is where you're doing cardio, and it's the cardio that is going to go into the fat burning process. So if those people that want to lose weight, they need to do fat burning exercise. On the C9, you're supposed to be giving your body a rest and time out. So the last thing you want to be doing is cardio, heavy cardio on the C9, because with that in mind, you're not putting enough fuel in your body to exercise. Now, obviously, if someone wants to do exercise, a lot of people don't want to stop doing exercise on the C9, so start on the F15. But there's nothing wrong with somebody doing the F15 and following it as the C9, because what you're going to be doing, you've got 15 days of products to start to make the changes, rather than 9 days of products to make the changes. So if you want to just get an F15 box and follow it at the level of a C9, but increase your calories, then it means that it's a nice gentle process of 15 days getting used to changes. So I think people get hung up thinking there's some magic in the C9 that's just going to make fat melt off their body, which, you know what, wouldn't it be great if there really was something?
It'd be very nice.
but we don't have that. So and the last thing we want to do is get people really worried about following this, get to the free foods, and then saying, oh my gosh, it's all gone wrong because I ate an apple today. We don't want that. It's not what we're about. Right, let's have a look what we've got on the next slide. So for people who haven't seen this before, this is what we get in the program. Gina, did you want to just give us a little bit of feedback about what we have in this program? Just go through it here.
Yeah, and I think again to mention, Louise, that all the products that you get in the C9 are the very same products that you get in the F15. So again, looking and seeing, is the C9 right for that person, or they might get a better result if they're going to go on to the F15 if they do want to exercise a lot. Because again, if they do the C9 and they exercise a lot, they're not going to get the best results. They're going to put their body into starvation mode. They won't get the result they're hoping for. So looking and seeing that all the products are the same, the difference is in the amount of food you're going to advise they have and the exercise they're going to do. And then looking and seeing our FIT program, do they need a foundation? Do they need the inspiration level to be inspired on another little bit, or are they ready for the transformation? Remembering we have a complete program that the C9 is part of, and then looking to see, okay, can we tailor it a little bit? We're going to be able to mix and match the flavors we'll talk about in a minute. And then we're going to see the key role of each supplement in between. So we'll take a look at each product individually, and you'll see then that these products are part of the C9, but they have a purpose on their own as well. And I think when you really get that understanding of, okay, that's what the Garcinia does, that's what the Therm does, you see these as lifelong products to support someone on a long-term healthy lifestyle change. They're not just suitable for 9 days or 15 days. When you see the power of what these products do, you see how they are everyday products to have as well to support you long term.
And because this is actually a program, I think putting on my nutritionist hat now, and we've got to be honest with people that first of all, as a program, we've got to look at it that it's not suitable for people to follow if they are not in a fit, healthy state. I think that is really, really important. I get this all the time, and I'm sure that you do. But just to clarify that this is where we're taking some of our products and we're putting those products alongside a very low calorie intake of food, even though it might be nutritionally balanced. The amount of energy that you're getting from that is very low. So unless you are fit and healthy, you shouldn't follow this. And that means if somebody is on medication, they shouldn't follow it. That is really, really important to understand. The other thing is there is some exercise in there, even though the exercise is quite gentle exercise. Once again, because it is a program, it's very, very different from mentioning someone would take, let's say, the shake as a product, as you've mentioned, Gina, on its own. So please be aware that you might be mentioning to somebody to have a product, but this is different when you're mentioning to someone to follow a program. And with that in mind, yeah, and I think that what often we hear is people will say, you were saying to me yesterday about a lady that you know who has blood glucose levels are up and down. Can she follow the program? Well, of course, what often happens, people will say, well, if you tweak it, if you don't do day 1 and day 2, you should be fine. That's not up to us to start interfering with somebody's health and well-being if they are on medication or they are following a health practitioner's advice. So the only way that if someone was to do a C9 or a F15, that they had gone to their health practitioner and the health practitioner has come back and said, I am really happy for you to follow this program, but these are the tweaks that I would like you to make. It's not up to us to do that. Would you agree with that, Gina?
Definitely, and I think it's a really good way for people to start looking at it and remembering that it's one thing looking at a product individually. It's a totally different situation when you look at a complete program that has been designed with so many different elements and so many different components, and it's specifically designed in certain ways for certain bodies. And as you said, that's not going to suit everybody. So that program is to support someone that's already fit and healthy to get even fitter, to get healthier. If somebody is outside of that range, then you need to look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and with that in mind as well, I often get asked the question about if I'm on a ketone diet, can I follow this? If I'm on a whatever diet, 5-2 diet, or all these different diets that are out there, my advice is you're already following some kind of diet. And with the ketone, as an example, the ketone is not based on what this is following. This is following a healthy, balanced diet. And a balanced diet is where you're getting the right proportion of carbohydrates to proteins to fats. When you're following a ketone diet, you are not following a balanced diet. So it is kind of working against what we're trying to do. So exactly the same thing. What other, sometimes people do those classes, don't they? Like, is it Slimming World? What do you have those kind of things over in Ireland? Those kind of
Yeah, very, very common over in Ireland. And again, I always bring people back to, we pride ourselves that we are that complete picture of health and wellness. And what I think is really, really important about a health journey is your mindset and is your relationship with food. And I think that's what you get with the C9 as well. It's not just all about take supplements or drink shakes. They're there to support your body in the bigger picture, the bigger scheme of things. So I think if you're looking to come on board with us to make that healthier choice, as you said, we're about the balance in nutrition, but we're about the overall balance of health as well, about setting your goals, getting your relationship right with food. That it's not a punishment or a sin to eat a certain food. It's not a reward to eat a certain food. Get that good, positive relationship with food, and then it's a long-term healthy lifestyle. And you're in balance. It's sustainable. And if you look at not just focusing on weight loss, but focusing on overall health and long-term health, your body is looking to be in balance. It's looking for homeostasis, and that's what we focus on.
And of course, the great thing about this program as well is that we know it's about getting our body and mind into a healthy state. And of course, I recommend people to follow this program to give themselves more clarity, more focus, increase their mood and their mindset. And sometimes people just need to have something as a direction and something positive to follow. So we can also recommend people to do that for a healthy mood and mindset and positivity, can't we, as well?
Definitely. And I think the times that we're in at the minute, people are looking for that direction. They're looking for that support, and support through us as business owners, but support through products to help their body be in balance, the booklets, the websites, everything we have there to guide and support people. Again, it's a complete program. It's a complete picture to help people.
Yeah, so it's quite exciting when you can start to see how you can help more people in more ways, rather than always getting people to think about standing on the weighing scales, seeing how much you weigh. I mean, I often tell people, you can see down there, there's the little tape measure. I say, look, success is not all about what your waist measurement size is, what the weighing scales say. Success can be how you feel. So this is a great program to get you into a positive mindset, and more people are now coming on board with this program to achieve that goal rather than weighing scale goals, I think.
Yeah, like the rest naturally follows. If you have weight to lose, if your body is meant to lose weight, that will all come with making positive changes. So I think people beat themselves up with a number on scales, and it's not an indication of health. So connect to the overall picture of the feeling and how you're going to feel in doing it.
Yeah. So obviously we know that in the program you can now mix and match. So obviously, as a forever business owner like myself, and you're a manager and you obviously do a lot of business and retailing, I would love you to share some of the the retailing tips you've got. So obviously now we have the opportunity to get like mix and match with the products. Could you give people some advice or some tips on how you would do that, reach out to people?
Yeah, so again, it's about personalizing it. It's about making sure the customer is getting what they want as much as you possibly can. So instead of just assuming that the berry gel might be your favorite, so ordering the berry for everyone, talk to the person. If possible, go to the person with your tasters, with your mini gels, with a couple of scoops of your shape. Leave them taste it and leave them make a decision on which one is right for them. They're going to be a lot more comfortable, a lot more happy in embracing it if they're happy with the flavors. And if it's a thing you can't get to them with tasters, make sure you pick up the phone and have that conversation and ask them where they're coming from. Are they the type of person that doesn't mind the taste of things and they just say, yeah, give me the plain one, I'll go for the purest one possible? Or are they the type of person that has a really, really sweet tooth and we need to just skip the plain one, not even consider it, and look at a flavored one from there? So it depends on the person. It depends on where they're coming from. You might think it's best that everybody do the plain gel. It is not best that they do it. If it's good, they're going to leave it sit into the fridge. So look and see what's right for that person and support them in making their choice on it. And then looking and seeing that you can mix and match things in different ways as well, even like the shakes as well, that we'll talk about different things that you can do with the shakes, because you will have some people that say to you, oh, I can't drink shakes. And just be ready to say, we can make smoothies, we can make different things with it. So again, making sure the person is happy, picking up the phone. If somebody rings you or messages you, and says, I need a C9 or order me a C9, I never just reply and say, yeah, no problem, I'll order it for you. I always have a chat back with a couple of text messages. And then when I feel they're a bit more comfortable, I'd say, can I just give you a quick call on this? I'll give them a call. I'll ask them, why do they want to do a C9? What result are they hoping to get? Where are they coming from in their diet and lifestyle at the minute? I can then decide, is the C9 right for them or not? Should they be going on to the F15 or should it be more loose products? Then I'll go on to flavors. I'll go on to taste. What would they actually prefer? Making sure that you're individualizing it to the person. Really thinking of your customer service. If a customer is drinking the plain gel and hating it for the 9 days, they're probably not going to reorder it and keep it up. If they are loving the peach or the berry one, chances are they'll be a customer for life because they're going to drink it, they're going to see the benefit, and they keep it up. So don't make it about you, what you think is right. Reach out, talk to your customers. I can't stress that enough, and especially at the minute, everything is online and behind screens. Still pick up the phone, build that relationship with the customer, find out what's right for them.
And of course, the other thing that I always get people ask is that they start to panic when they think about taking the products. If they're trying to follow the booklet exactly as it is. We have this website, the foreverfituk.co.uk. And the great thing about that even in the booklet where it gives you some recipes that you can do on the C9, then obviously with this particular website, it's going to give you the opportunity to look at all the programs, and if there's going to be other recipes on there. So we can also do that, can't we? We can give people the opportunity to expand out and realize that they don't have to sit specifically with what's in the C9 booklet.
Definitely, and variety is key for sustainability. If somebody thinks they're really, really restricted and they should only eat these foods for 9 days, you can't keep that up. So get them falling in love with food all over again, enjoying food, getting them mix and matching with different recipes and different things, not just following the couple of pages that's in the C9 booklet, but again, referring to the website. There's so many recipes on that website under the F15 beginner, intermediate, advanced. All those can be used on the C9 as well. So it's just about clean eating, managing the calories that are going in and getting your body back into balance. So you can eat so much on it. And I think from a business owner point of view, when we're all doing the C9, that's what we need to be putting out there. We don't need to keep just showing people a picture of the box or a picture of the supplements. People need to relate to the story of how it's done, in how your day looks, what you actually eat and how you feel. So constantly putting out there, letting people see that day 3 to day 9, you might want to have a burger and chips. It's fine. Make them yourself from scratch. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. You might want to have lasagna. You might want to have a curry. There's all this variety that you can still have. Just don't use jars. Keep it as clean as possible. And people can relate to that then, because they can look and see, okay, that's a family meal. And again, the easier it is for people to implement in their homes, the better. They don't have to think that they have to follow a booklet, they have to make this for themselves, they have to make something else for the rest of the family. What we do is so possible for the whole family to eat, because it's not restrictive. We're not cutting out food groups. It is really, really appealing when people see the variety and the amount of food you can actually eat on it as well.
And also, I'm vegetarian, and this is another question that I get asked all the time, that if I'm vegetarian or vegan, can I follow the C9 and the F15? Well, I'm going to pick out just some of the products as we go through that are actually not for vegetarians or vegans because of what's in them. And often people will say that, well, I can't do a C9, or my customer can't do the C9 because they're vegetarian or vegan. No, at the end of the day, we have that website, which means you can direct a customer to that website so they can specifically follow the idea of the program, whether it's a C9, F15, and they can have loose products. And all they need to do really is, as we'll look at the products, how we'd supplement them, but you can do that and you can buy the individual products. And then of course it means that you can go and follow a recipe, which is a healthy recipe for vegans, or a healthy recipe for vegetarians, or if you're following any particular diet, you know, obviously people that may be lactose or celiac or whatever it happens to be, the same kind of scenario. It's about healthy eating, and our products are supporting the healthy eating. It's not about our products doing the whole work. So it's saying, okay, there's a recipe here that looks a healthy recipe, and it's 600 calories. Follow that if that's something that you want to do for your lunch or your evening meal. That's about being able to incorporate our products forever in somebody's life, not just for 9 days or 15 days. I think that's the key thing that we have to look at. And if people can't use certain products, obviously, as we go into the next few slides, we're just going to give a few ideas what you could use as an alternative. So with that in mind, the drinking gels. Now, the drinking gels are the mainstay of our business. 50% of the worldwide sales is down to people drinking aloe vera. So 50% of our independent retail sales will become from customers from drinking aloe vera. And it makes total sense that every single day we drink aloe vera. How can we recommend people to even do a C9 or F15 if we're not even drinking aloe vera? It just doesn't sit right. But what we want people to do is see that this is the cornerstone of everything that we do and how we lead, and why it's not in the box because it's a diet product. Most people want to have great skin, hair and nails. They want a good, strong immune system, digestive system. They don't want to be tired. They want to have great joints. In fact, most people, they want to be feeling great. And having a shot of aloe every day, aloe vera contains a whole cocktail of nutrients. And it's the nutrients in aloe vera going to support your body to be the best it can be. And of course, with the C9, the main role of that is really to support your digestive health, because that is the reason you're taking it in the program. But we don't want people to stop taking it after they're finished. So Gina, what would you say about the people that kind of go, I can't do day 1 and day 2, I've got to drink all that aloe? Have you got any tips for that?
It can be a lot. When you look at the booklet, it's 120 mils 4 times a day, day 1 and day 2. You've the best part of a litre gone in 2 days. Some people will think, yeah, that's no problem, they can drink it, they do it fine. Some people drink it and they could be into the second portion of day 1 going, how am I going to keep drinking this amount of it? So normally I try and get the C9 to the person ahead of time, maybe 3 days beforehand, and get them to just start having 30 mils throughout the day, just to get the body used to it. If it's a thing that they get to day 1 and day 2 and they're like, I can't drink this much, I need to just give up, I need to quit or whatever. Again, it's the recommended amount. If you can do it, brilliant. If you can't, let's tailor it. Let's look at what you can actually do. So you will have some people that will drink the recommended amount day 1 and day 2. You'll have some people that won't, and that's totally fine too. If they just want to have 60 mils 3 times a day instead of 120 mils 4 times a day, that's okay. They can continue to drink more days 3 to day 9, where the booklet says just drink it once. So again, meeting the person where they're at, and this is where your customer service is key. Keep in touch with that person, because people's mindset are often all or nothing, and they often think they're failing if they can't drink the amount the book says they should stop, that they're not going to see the results they want to see. It's going to be a total failure, a waste of time doing it, when that's not the case. It's part of the program. If you can drink that amount, brilliant. If you can't, let's do it in a different way. Maybe you just want to have 60 mils more often throughout the day instead of the 120 in one go. Looking and seeing, are they happy with the flavor? Do you need to look at making a swap? Support your customer to do it in their way and to make positive changes. It's again not all about perfection. And talking to the person, I think, is really, really important about the benefits of the individual products, making sure that the customer knows why they're drinking the gel. They're not drinking it because it's a drainer blocker and it's going to flush out the whole system. They're drinking it, as you said, looking at supporting digestive health.
Yeah.
And if we keep going back to supporting someone to feel better and not just look better, when digestive health is in balance, you're feeling so much better. You have the direct gut-brain connection with the vagus nerve. So again, mentioning what the products are doing helps the customer really, really see the benefits that they're seeing, and they really see the products then supporting them long-term. That's not just for 9 days. How long do you drink aloe vera for? As long as you want to feel good. And they'll see it being a long-term product.
And I often say to people as well, that, as you know, I always say that the recommended daily amount of aloe is actually around about 120 mils a day. So of course, if someone said to me, I want to drink 120 mils of aloe from day one, I'll go, that's fantastic, because then it means that they haven't just got the aloe over the 9 days, they've got the aloe for actually around about 16 days, because if you're drinking 120 mils a day, then that's going to give you around about 8 and a bit days of aloe per litre bottle. And I would rather people get into a habit of drinking aloe over a longer period of time. But I think people have this thought, as you mentioned, in that day 1 and day 2, that they have to drink all that amount in one, because that's when the magic happens. That's when the drain cleaner is cleaning out the gunge. Oh my gosh, be great if that's what it did, but nah. It's the aloe supports the body to do what the body does. And of course, really, once again, that if people are drinking less aloe, then they would increase their water, because the main idea of drinking such a lot of aloe on day 1 and day 2 is really from the nutritional support of the water content of aloe, because it's a plant. Or we were born 90% water. We tend to struggle to be about 50 to 70% now. And so what you're doing is giving your body water, giving yourself that beautiful cocktail of nutrients. And of course, if you're drinking more aloe, you're having more water and more nutrients, but just increase the water, but just extend it out. So I think that's the biggest thing. And yes, you can have a cup of tea on day 1 and day 2. It's fine. Absolutely fine. So, oh yeah, and the other one I think that we should bring in here is, a lot of people always say about if they're taking the Freedom, that if people are already drinking the Freedom, then yes, absolutely continue to drink your Freedom. If you're drinking 120 mils of Freedom a day, continue to drink 120 mils a day. If you want to follow the program exactly as it is of the 480, top up the rest, not with Freedom, but with the drinking gel you've chosen from the program. So
yeah, that's exactly me. That's exactly what I do. I drink the Freedom. The last 6 years, I couldn't go 9 days without it, so I wouldn't even attempt to. So I'd have my Freedom every morning as normal, and as you said, then I'd use an alternative gel for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And I think with all of this, what we're saying is that we really want business owners to see the power of this product and to be able to recommend it to others, but do it yourself first, so you know how it feels, and you can guide people. It's much more powerful than giving somebody a box and saying, let me know how you get on and let me know what it's like. It just doesn't feel the same. So people
I don't think you can support someone properly through it until you've done it yourself. And we are that use and recommend company of it. It's coming from a genuine place of recommendation. And if you haven't done it, if somebody comes to you maybe on day 2 and they're not feeling great, you might kind of think there's something wrong. Whereas when you do it, it's not normal that you might feel brilliant on day 2. Your energy mightn't be 100%. Your body is resting. It's going through a bit of a cleansing process. You're not putting in the same amount of calories, so you're not going to have the same amount of energy. If you've experienced it yourself, that you can say to them, much easier from tomorrow. You'll really feel the energy starting to pick up from tomorrow. You'll know how someone is going to feel going through it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the first component, and the next one is the shake. So I believe that you quite like a smoothie, Gina.
I do. I'm not the biggest fan of a shake. Okay, as in if I just put it in the shaker with milk or with water or a different type of milk and just shake it up, I honestly don't like it that way. And I think there's a lot of people like that with shakes. So again, it's really, really important to talk to your customer, support them throughout it. You might find on day 1 they tasted this and go, oh, I don't really feel like I can drink that for 9 days, because if I'm totally honest, that's me. So I make it into a smoothie. And you'll see in the booklet and on the website, foreverfituk.co.uk, there's so many different varieties of what you can do with this. You don't have to have it with water or with milk and leave it at that. Mix it up. Again, variety makes it so much more appealing, more interesting for people. You can maybe see it as a kitchen cupboard item long term. I add it to porridge, I make pancakes, I make ice cream. On the C9, there's so many different types of smoothies that you can use. And then people will kind of go, oh, but I'll be going over the calories if I add in different things. I'll get you to mention in a minute, Louise, about the BMR and why it's actually okay to go a little bit over. But looking and seeing, there's so much that you can do with it. You can add in so many things. Even the chocolate one, I love to store it through natural yogurt. There's not that many more calories in the yogurt compared to the full fat milk that I'd use anyway. So it's about looking at what's appealing to that person. The nutrients, all the different vitamins and minerals that you get in this is so, so important part of the program. So looking and seeing if the person doesn't like it as a shake, like me, there's plenty of other ways that they can have it as well.
And I think the biggest thing is that people have this thought process that when they are following the C9, they have to eat the lowest calorie intake of things possible. And one of the concerns has always been when people are choosing to have, for example, almond milk, and almond milk can be really, really low calorie, and the other nut milk's the same. And so when you look at the shake, the powder, 1 scoop is 96 calories per scoop. So if you were to add almond milk to it, 300 mils of almond milk, depending on the brand, that is probably giving you around about 50 to 60 calories. It depends on the brand again. So having around about 150 calories is not enough, because by following the booklet, it says each of the shakes should be a minimum of 200 calories. And so that's too low. Obviously, if you mix it with water, that is 96 calories. If you're having 2 shakes a day in one meal, then 1 meal of 600 calories and 2 at 96, you can see that's less than 800. That's a scary, scary place to be. So the lower your calorie intake is, it's not good. It's really not good. And people think that the less they eat, they're going to lose weight. When in fact, you're doing the opposite. Your body is going in starvation mode and you're shutting it down. So that is not the thing to do. So I always say, make sure the minimum amount that is 200. Obviously, from what you've said, Gina, the shakes, some of them, the recipe shakes the shakes are, some of them about 400 calories, so people worry if they're having that. So yeah, the BMR, which you mentioned, so the BMR is your basal metabolic rate, and you can simply go and work it out if you go on the website, the foreverfituk.co.uk, and by working it out, you have to give your age, your weight, your height and your gender. Follow it exactly as it says. Not your BMI, but your BMR, and then that will give you the amount of calories. So I think, Gina, I worked out yours would probably, because you're 5'1",
and a half, and a half.
Well, I'm 5'2.25". It's a bit funny. One of those quarters and halves means something at
Very important.
Our height. So I would imagine that your BMR is quite similar to mine. So I would imagine that your BMR would be around about 1400 calories, where if I was then talking to a guy who might be 5'11" and build, his BMR could be about 1900 calories. You know, it could be more, 2,500 calories for some guys. So generally speaking, what I say, incorporating what you're choosing to eat from your meals, what your shakes are, what your free foods are. If you follow your BMR, then that is a safer place to be, rather than going 1,000 calories plus free foods for a woman, 1,200 calories for a guy plus free foods, because we want to be following it as the actual person, not the booklet person that's been written for an average person that isn't us. So that's what I would definitely say, no less than 200 calories per shake. But then if you're worried about the calories, work out your BMR. While we're on this one, that this particular shake, for those that are interested, this contains vitamin D, and vitamin D that we have in all of our products is actually derived from the sheep's wool. We take it from the fatty part of what's on the skin. In fact, all vitamin D is synthesized on the skin from sunlight. So that's where it's come from. So if you are somebody who does not want to take the shake because vitamin D comes from an animal source, then all you need to do is change what you're having for a shake into a meal, a healthy meal. There's all those recipes that Gina's mentioned. And if it's for breakfast, then follow 200 to 300 calories maybe. If it's for lunch, 400 to 500 calories, evening meal 600, 700, 800 calories depending, and that's as simple as you do. You don't have to have the shake. I think that's probably the best. I think we've gone through all the shake, we've gone through it all, every shape or form on the shake.
Yeah, and again, people will see how it's a long-term addition to their lifestyle, as you'd say, kitchen cupboard item, that it's so handy to have there. Make a smoothie and have a smoothie on the go and make it more complete. Add in your porridge oats, your peanut butter, your yogurt, and make more of a complete breakfast out of it if you want a honey smoothie on the go. And people see then how it fits in. It's not a slim fast shake. It's not going to melt fat off your body. It's a low calorie, nutritious shake. So it has a place as a healthy snack going forward, or as part of a healthy balanced meal going forward as well.
Yeah, and I think it's just important to make it clear here that this is actually a weight management product. So that is, when it's a weight management product, we are not supposed to recommend children, teenagers under the age of 18, and in that particular way, from a marketing point of view, just to clarify, please do not advertise, do not market this product for children, because we can't do that, because it specifically comes as a weight management product. But yeah, you can use it as a kitchen cupboard item. So just be aware that that's another question that comes up all the time about children following the C9. No, it's as I say, this is a program that has been designed for adults. If children have a bit of a challenge with their eating habits, their weight, they need to go and see a specialist. It's not about putting on the C9 that's going to sort that out. So that's that question answered. Garcinia, I believe on this one you're going to talk about constipation.
I am very interested. I think it's a question that is coming up time and time again. And again, it's like the whole thing of, oh, the C9 is super for losing so many pounds in so many days. There's so many things that have happened over the years that people have hung on to about the program, about specific products. And this is one that people constantly relate to people being constipated. If somebody is constipated on the C9, I've heard so many people say, it's the Garcinia, it's the Garcinia, it's the Garcinia. It's not the Garcinia. There's nothing in this Garcinia that's going to constipate people. And then I'd often say to somebody, if somebody's coming to you on day 1 or day 2 or day 3 and they're saying they're constipated, why do they think they're constipated? Are they actually feeling constipated? Or is it just they mean they've had no bowel movement? Because there's a difference. And it's about looking and seeing there's less going in, there's going to be less coming out. And if they haven't had a bowel movement in a day or 2, they're probably not constipated. It's just there's less food going in, there's less waste to come out. And again, you don't recommend that somebody cuts this capsule. People seem to think it's a gelatin capsule. They've recommended people cut it and squeeze out the middle. It's a time release capsule. It won't work effectively if you're not swallowing it whole and leaving it release where it's needed to release. So let go of that association that the Garcinia makes you constipated. It doesn't. Most of the time, if somebody is experiencing constipation, it's normally related to dehydration. It's normally related to they're not drinking enough water. And they might be drinking the same amount of water that they've always drank, but they're not replacing the food with water as well, which is important because so many foods are high in water. And if you're reducing what you're eating, you're reducing the amount of water going into your body as well. So you need to really increase the water. And then look at maybe some foods to support people to help bowels move, the likes of pears and pineapples and things like that. But most of the time, if they're not drinking enough water, and never is it a case that it's the Garcinia, that would be my advice on that, definitely.
Yeah, and the other thing you mentioned about the gelatin capsules. So once again, this is a product that we would not recommend or suggest if you are vegetarian or vegan, or if for any particular reason that you don't want to have something that is a bovine source. So with that in mind, as you've mentioned, we don't remove it from the capsule. So simply all you need to do is this particular product, it's Garcinia is also known as tamarind, and tamarind is actually what we call a feel-good food. And there's certain foods that we eat that can affect how we feel. And our serotonin, our happy hormone, actually resides in our gut. So how we feel can actually be related to what we eat. And that's why, unfortunately, we feel quite good when we eat refined sugar, because refined sugar will have an effect on how we feel with our serotonin, but it's not the healthiest way. So simply all you need to do is, if you can't take the Garcinia, then choose to have your snacks and things like that rather than sugary snacks. Then you would have, let's say, for example, other feel-good foods apart from tamarind, things like pineapple, you mentioned that, kiwis, banana, walnuts, tomatoes, dates, nuts and seeds. All those kind of things are the kind of snacky things you can have if you can't take this. And of course, the other thing is to personalize the time when you take the Garcinia. Gina, do you recommend that as well?
Definitely. And as you mentioned there, if we're talking about serotonin and your happy hormones, often people have already set their serotonin clock, and their body is waiting for that serotonin fix at 11 o'clock with Vicky's at the cuppa, or the 3 o'clock slump, and they're going to go to the vending machine and work, or whatever the case is. Their body is waiting for that pick me up or that sugar fix at certain times. So then in that situation, again, looking at the booklet, just being a guide, tailored to the person. So if it's a thing that the booklet says you're going to have Garcinia morning, lunchtime, and dinner, but that person sits down from 7:30, 8 o'clock when the kiddies are in bed, and that's when they can't stop thinking, craving the chocolate, they want 6 biscuits with a cup of tea. So they need to take the Garcinia at 7 o'clock before they sit down at 7:30. So replacing the serotonin times with your Garcinia, and then introducing a healthy snack with it to actually replace what they've had. So they're going to have the Garcinia, and they're going to sit down with some chunks of pineapple and a few walnuts, instead of having it at dinner time and they're still craving the chocolate when they sit down, if that makes sense. So again, it's looking at the individual, looking at their day, looking at the times to what the booklet suggests, but tailoring to suit that person, to suit their day.
And I think as well, going on from that, it's another kitchen cupboard item that we don't want people to think this is something that you just take. If you are following the C9, the F15, there's another really, really key ingredient in here, which is the chromium. And you can see from the slide that that will contribute to the maintenance of normal blood glucose levels. So for those people that find their blood glucose levels are up and down, this is a great product that they can take because of the chromium. We also have another product called Forever Lean that contains chromium, but the Garcinia contains more chromium than lean. It was just a side of that. But also another interesting thing I find is that there are certain times of the month when ladies feel that they just need to eat loads and loads.
Kill somebody for chocolate.
Yes. So hormones can affect how we feel, our mood. So I actually have some of my customers who will have this as a kitchen cupboard item, and they will just literally take it for 1 week every month. It really helps them through that particular time when the cravings seem to go through the roof. So.
And I think it's keeping in communication with your customers so they get that understanding of what the products are doing individually, and they're not thinking, oh God, I can't believe I'm not craving chocolate today because I'm on the C9. It's more so because you're taking the Garcinia with the chromium and getting their association with, okay, if I want my cravings to be in control after the 9 days, this is what I need to keep up. And they see the individual benefits, and it's not because they're on the C9 they're getting all these benefits, but looking at each product and what that's actually doing to support you.
Yeah, perfect. It's a great product, and you know what, it is such a popular product that we have in our range. And the Therm, so yeah, as we were saying earlier about caffeine, it's interesting when people say I can't have tea and coffee when I'm on the C9, but as you can see, the caffeine actually comes from tea and coffee. So what are your thoughts on this product, Gina?
Again, I think it's something that's after getting lost in translation of We mean reduce caffeine on the C9. If somebody is living on a few cups of coffee a day, they're skipping meals, they're having coffee and biscuits, it's about looking at making positive changes. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a cup of coffee. It can be nutritious in many ways to have a good cup of coffee. So there's no need to just cut all caffeine out and then you're going to take it in a natural supplement. So again, it's understanding what's in the products, what's in the supplements, knowing that this is going to help your energy levels, it's going to help your function, your concentration, it's going to help your mental focus. So looking at seeing how you can use it for that person. Are they maybe somebody that's doing shift work? Are they somebody that's a lecturer in the college? They want the focus, the concentration, the clarity. Are they somebody that's really getting into exercise? They're going to take it before exercise. So again, it's looking at them, knowing the function of the product and how it can support them in their daily routine, in their daily life. And again, keeping in communication with people and checking in with people. You'll have some people that might say to you, oh, I didn't feel great when I took the term today. Make sure they're taking it with food. That's really, really important.
Yeah, because sometimes because it's very concentrated, people can sometimes feel a little bit sicky, or they feel it repeats on them. So I always get people to have it maybe with some yogurt or something like that. And also, once again, a bit like the Garcinia, people can tailor make to take it at the times. I call it's a product you take for your flagging times, and we all have different flagging times. So I think there's only one other thing that I'd probably say about this is if people have a sensitivity to caffeine, then because the word therm is short for thermogenesis actually means heat. And so what we would want to do is suggest our customer to take another product that is going to create thermogenesis in our body. And we have a whole array of different things we can recommend, but the best one really is the Move. And the Move contains something called curcumin, and curcumin is the really potent active part of turmeric, and turmeric is also known to be a thermogenic herb and spice. And it's nice to be able to recommend people to add those to their recipes as well.
Definitely, even just adding cinnamon even with apple to your shake is lovely, or cooking more with ginger, and looking at the thermogenic spices and things that you can add to your food every day. And again, understanding that process of we're working on the thermogenesis in the body, which is your fat burning ability. We're going to turn up the heat and it's going to go look for the stored fat. So understanding that it's not just going to melt fat off your body, it's the whole process of how the spice and the herb actually work. So looking to your foods for it as well.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people think, oh, if people can't take the therm, they're going to recommend taking the bee pollen. But the bee pollen is not really the product that you want to bring in here. It's not, because bee pollen is not something that we recommend to be thermogenic. And if people are going, oh, what is thermogenesis and thermogenic herbs and spices, just go and research it. There's so many out there that you could start to incorporate in your cooking, like peppers and you said cinnamon and horseradish, and a lot of these chili, things like that that are going to create heat in your body. So it's about having fun and not just thinking I have to stick to the booklet, I have to stick to that. We want people to take this forward, don't we, and see this as another product we can have in our kitchen cupboard. And then we come to our fibre. So tell us about the fibre, from how we can use it as, because I know people often think, oh, it's an interesting one. Oh, do I really have to have it in water in between meals? No, we can vary it, can't we?
Yeah, and I think again, understanding its purpose and its role, and it's such an important part of your healthy balanced diet, is to have the right level of fibre in it. For your digestive health, it is crucial to have the right level of fibre in the diet. So don't skip it. To get the best taste, the best result, start with warm water when you're mixing it. It'll get clumpy if you start with cold water and it's not too good. So do start with warm water, and then you can top it up with your shake, you can top it up with your gel. You can add it even to your shake or your smoothie if you want, but don't skip it. It is a key part of digestive health. And even if the minute, even all the time, but definitely at the minute, people want to support their immune system like never before. And it's such an important part of immune health as well, isn't it, Louise?
Yeah, and that's because, as you can see from the slide, it says fructooligosaccharides, and fructooligosaccharides is quite a long word.
I'm glad you said that one.
Well, often you see that written on supplements. In fact, if you looked at the ImmuBlend as one of our supplements, it has FOS, and fructooligosaccharides is actually the insoluble fiber that you get from food. And what's interesting about insoluble fiber, it is the food for your healthy bacteria that resides in your gut. And of course, I think we're all aware that 70% of our immune system resides in our gut, and our microbiome, or healthy bacteria, has a huge role in supporting our immune system. And so you want your healthy bacteria, your microbiome, to be healthy so they can support our immune system. And so what's really an interesting thing about this product is that we need to have 30 grams of fiber a day in our diet to keep our body on track in homeostasis, to be in balance. So we know that there are a lot of people who are not having enough fiber in their diet. And that means that the role of the fiber is probably lacking when it gets to your healthy bacteria. So we want to make sure we've got enough of that insoluble fiber for our healthy bacteria. So if you want to support your immune system, you need to make sure you're getting enough fiber in your diet. Do you know people that are not eating that amount of fiber? Is it people are not eating those healthy vegetables, those green leafy vegetables, and they're not getting enough fiber in the diet, which means that this could be something that they can easily pop into things as a top up. And children are terrible, aren't they, at eating, but also adults. And also as people get older as well. So you can easily add this to soups or casseroles. If you're making some desserts, like I don't know, a crumble, and you're making a nice apple crumble, or you could sprinkle this into the topping. If you're making some like flapjacky kind of things, or those kind of cookies, granola bars, you can add some in. So it's a great way to start to add things into foods, just to top up your fiber, because remember, we need to be on that 30 grams of fiber a day. So this is going to give you a little bit extra. Right, so one question that I have quite a lot is that, okay, why would somebody want to get a C9 or F15? Because of course, you know, if we know it's about changing our eating habits and changing our exercise habits, why can't people just go off and do that? Well, yeah, that would be great if they did, but often people really struggle to be able to get the momentum going. And this is, remember what we started the presentation with, this particular phrase, all about change and the support. So I always say that we need to, our products are there as a supportive role, a bit like a three-legged stool. So the first leg is the change of your eating habits and your exercise habits, which of course, you know, you can do that on your own. Then you've got to have the mindset to be able to make the change in your mindset. And then the products are there as a supportive role to make sure that as you're making those changes, you are getting the right nutrition into your body, you're supporting your digestive system, because it's not just about changing your food. You want to make sure your digestive system is in balance. So your digestive system can then, if it's in balance, more nutrients are going to be absorbed into your body, and more nutrients are going to get around your body. So this is another important thing. It's that supportive role, but then to be able to follow a program where you have direction, you have focus. And a lot of people prefer to have something where it's this commitment. They've got the box, and the box psychologically is that commitment of change. And then on top of that, not just having the box, you are going to have a forever business owner who is there as a supportive role, as they're there to kind of ask questions. They're there to kind of like cheer you on. They're your cheerleaders. So I think that's the really, really important thing about the C9 and the F15. There's more than just the products in the box that you're getting. You're getting the FBO and their encouragement as well. And talking about encouragement, the last slide that we have is we are looking at encouraging our FBOs to make some changes.
Yes, this is really, really exciting what's happening already this week, and you'll see it for the coming days as well. So as business owners, obviously we do what we coach other people to do. We're doing the C9. We're going to blog about the C9. You're going to see our posts. Our head office staff are coming on board to do it with us as well. So we're going to be able to follow their journeys, and you can get involved as well. You can hashtag C9 challenge. You can post about your dinner or about your workout or wherever you're doing to be in a chance of winning some amazing cash prizes. So go to our Forever Fit UK and Ireland page, or Forever Living UK and Ireland page on Facebook. You'll see a lot more details there. But even in the coming days, if you're to even tune into some of the exercise classes that are going on. So they've been going on Monday and Tuesday, but even from tomorrow, there's another one again in the morning. You'll see the full schedule on the Facebook page. There's excitement, there's power in numbers. Tap into the community that's there to do it alongside you. And it's so much more enjoyable. The fun that you'll have in seeing what everybody else is doing, what they're posting, you'll feel much more part of that supportive community. That is a real key part of success as well. Having that accountability, having that check-in system, even if it's just a thing to push yourself to post a picture of your dinner, you'll feel much more involved and part of the process as well. And you'll get to keep an eye on what's going on with the head office staff doing it. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Saturday, you have something going on yourself as well, Saturday, Louise, don't you?
Yeah. So I know that going on from really this particular webinar is there's going to be a Facebook Live that I'm doing, and people will be able to ask questions. So if you've got any more questions from listening to this, then please literally come on. It's on the Facebook page. It's the UK and Ireland Facebook page. I'll be live on there, and you can ask questions. But also I'm going to give you a few little ideas of what I call the supplement bundles, because often people say when they've done the C9, what happens next? How can they move forward? And maybe it's not about going on to another C9 and another C9 and another C9. Oh, no, because your calories are too low. But we want people to continue. And often the continuation is to support different things. We've already mentioned about your mindset. It could be going on because you've noticed that your skin, you want your skin and your outer health and beauty to continue with that. Or it could be that you are specifically looking at joint health. So it's these little bundles of how we can do that. It's a little bit different, but tune in, and please remember to tune into the exercise if you want to do that. I think we've got Natalie Valenti on Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
Have you got
Jill Scott? I have the schedule here. Yeah.
Please do.
So tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 7 a.m. Natalie Valenti. She's an amazing yoga instructor. Don't miss that. Set your alarm. Get up. I definitely will be. I'll be up anyway with the baby. With Jill Scott on Thursday, 5 p.m. Christina Rianoff, 12 p.m. Friday. We know her from TV. 5 p.m. on Saturday is Louise. And we have more exercise the following Monday and the following Tuesday with Natalie Valenti as well. So there's lots there. And what I like about it is it's a complete mix. We're not showing somebody one exercise regime, because again, everything has to be tailored to the person's individual interest and their ability. And so it's about mixing it up and seeing, is yoga for you? Is what Jill doing for you? Something will appeal to you within it. And that's what's right for you to continue with then.
Yeah, and I think just in closing with the exercise is that, whether you're C9 or F15, is that for a lot of people, it's not necessarily having to follow exactly what it's in the booklet. That's why we're showing these variety things. But for you, if you're somebody who has a young child, obviously Gina has, is it Noah, little Noah? Yeah. So how old's Noah now?
He's just 18 months now.
Okay, so a bit of power walking in a buggy. You could put in the buggy and get out there, and getting the speed up with when you're probably thinking, "Mummy, what's going on?"
Windswept
child. Or you're out with your dog and you're you're just going a bit further with your dog and doing things like that around your lifestyle. And of course, the other thing is that to support our immune system, to get out and get in the fresh air, and if you can, go to different locations that are local to you, because if you can get yourself around different trees and plants and things, they will also support your immune system by what they're giving off in the atmosphere. So it's really, really good to do that. And of course, to take the C9 and the F15, incorporating this variety, and this is what we're trying to get people to do. Enjoy the process. And then you'll get a great outcome. Well, thank you so much, Gina, for joining me today. And I look forward to catching up with you next time I'm in Ireland. I'm not sure when that's going to be. And
hopefully not too long. We missed the in-person trainings, but it's always a pleasure to present alongside you. So thanks so much, Louise.
Okay, Gina, take care and goodbye, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.